Hello my dear students, I'm Dr. Ahmad Ali. Today we will gonna solve biology exam paper 3 of the core for year 9 students pre-IG. This is the latest exam released by Cambridge, which is March 2022. Okay. First question. Figure 1.1 is a photomicrograph in an animal cell. Letter A, identify the structure in the cell that contains the genetic material. Label the structure on figure 1.1 by stating its name in the space provided and by drawing a line or a label line to show its location in the cell. هنا عايزني ان انا احدد اكتب له اسم الستراكشر وارسم اعمل له labeling. طبعا ده out of 2 marks، درجة على الليبلنج ودرجة على ان انا اكتب اسمها. اول حاجة بنعمل labeling using a line by the ruler، a straight line by the ruler ويبقى clear على البوينت اللي انا على الستراكشر اللي هو عايزها، و I have to write its name. So it's the nucleus. Okay. Letter B, the actual size of the animal cell is much smaller than it appears in the image in figure 1.1. State the piece of lab equipment that is used to view the animal cell. طبعا هنشوف ال animal cell we have to use a light microscope to see it. So I have to write light microscope. Okay. Plants contain additional cell structures when compared to animal cell. State 2 structures of plant cells that are not present in the cell shown in figure 1.1. This is an animal cell, so I have to state 2 structures. طبعا ده question state, so I have only to say the names. فعليا ان انا اكتب بس الاسامي الحاجات المختلفة اللي موجودة في البلانت cell and it's not present in the animal cell. فاحنا عندنا طبعا 3 main structures اللي هم cell wall, and we have also chloroplast and the sap vacuole. So I can write sap vacuole or I can write large permanent vacuole. طبعا اي اتنين منهم هيبقى صح، مش محتاج ان انا اكتب التلاتة، اكتب الاتنين اكتر اتنين يعني ممكن cell wall و chloroplast to take the 2 marks. The next question, figure 1.2 is a diagram representing the concentration of oxygen inside and outside an animal cell. Here this is an animal cell. طبعا ده شكل مش حقيقي يعني، بس هو to represent the process or what's happening. عندي outside the cell here and here it's inside the cell, and there is a barrier in between, and he said that this is the oxygen molecules. State the name of the part of the cell that X represents. طبعا طالما عندي outside و inside, here it's a semi-permeable membrane, so which is the cell membrane. Also I have to only to state the name. طيب الquestion اللي بعده بيقول draw an arrow on figure 1.2 to show the net direction of movement of the oxygen molecule. عندنا الاكسجين molecule هنا عندنا higher concentration وهنا lower concentration، فطبعا movement of molecules will be from higher concentration to lower concentration by a process called diffusion. Okay, so I have to draw an arrow from the high concentration to low concentration. Here it is. Only one arrow. وطبعا لازم الارو هاد يبقى مبين الموفمنت بتاع المولكيولز from where to where. طيب الكويستشن اللي بعده state the name of the process represented by the arrow you have drawn on figure 1.2. طيب which process اللي بتخلي movement of molecules from high concentration to low concentration, which is diffusion. Yes, so I have to write only the name لأن هو قال لي برضو state so it's diffusion. Okay. Question number 2, figure 2.1 is a diagram of the male reproductive system in human. The boxes on the left show the letters in figure 2.1 that identify parts of the male reproductive system, and the boxes on the right show the function of some of the parts. Draw 4 straight lines to match each letter to its correct function. طبعا عندي هنا 4 letters A, B, C and D, so I have to know they are representing what. So the first one, A is, yes, it's the gland, so the gland is producing, it's producing, yes, the secret fluid for sperm to swim in, which is to form the semen. So I have also to draw a straight line using the ruler. So I have the words here, or the functions that I have is produce sperm, sac which contains the testes and secretes fluid for sperm to swim in, and I have tube which carries the sperm to the urethra, and tube which carries urine and sperm. B is the testes, so it's the function of the test is to produce sperm. So he said draw 4 straight lines, so ده معناه ان انا ما عنديش حاجة ليها اكتر من function, so it's only one. C, it's the tube that carries urine and semen, which is, yes, here it's the tube carries urine and sperm, carries urine and semen, it's the same, which is the urethra. And these, I have here sac which contains the testes. No, it's not the scrotum. It's the tube which carries the sperm to the urethra, which is the sperm duct. This is the sperm duct. This is the last one. Okay. Next question. The testes are organs that produce a hormone that controls the development of secondary sexual characteristics in male. And I have to draw a circle. طبعا هو محدد لي ان انا ارسمها circle around the name of this hormone. Okay, so I have to draw a circle which is the male sex hormone, which is the testosterone. Yes. This is a square, so I have to draw it as a circle. Okay, it's a little bit large. Okay, explain why the tests are classified as an organ. طبعا هنا explanation, so I have to answer in paragraph, ولازم ان انا اتكلم على, هو بيقول لي why the tests are classified as an organ, so I have to write the definition of the word organ. ده كأنه بالظبط بيسألني على define the term organ or what is meant by the term organ. So I have to write the definition of the word organ. فهقول له ان test دي because it is made out of different tissues. This is the first mark, that work together to perform or to do a certain function or a specific function. Okay. طيب انا عندي هنا السؤال ده out of 2 marks، فدول متوزعين ازاي؟ خلينا نشوف. عندي the first mark it's because it's made out of different tissues. This is the first mark. The other one is work together to perform a specific function. These are the 2 marks. Okay, next. Reproduction is one of the characteristics of living things. State 2 other characteristics. طبعا احنا عارفين ان ال characteristics اللي هم ال 7 life processes، هو قايل لي هنا واحدة منهم which is reproduction وعايز 2 كمان، فانا ممكن اكتب له اي حاجة من بقية ال 6 اللي موجودين. ممكن نقول مثلا respiration، ممكن نقول excretion، ممكن نقول sensitivity، ممكن نقول gross، وممكن نقول كمان هو قايل reproductive، فاضل nutrition. طبعا مش هنكتب كل دول، we have to write only two. Any two of these will be right. طيب describe how sexual reproduction differs from asexual reproduction. هنا عايز ال differences between ال sexual and asexual reproduction. سؤال description طبعا برضو بجاوب، ما بحطش points، بجاوب in a paragraph and I have to answer in a paragraph not in points. So السؤال اللي زي ده ما ينفعش اكتب له ما ينفعش اقول له مثلا it needs two parents. ليه ما ينفعش اكتب كده؟ لان لازم احدد مين هي it needs two parents. So I have الاول ان انا اقول له ان انا بتكلم على ايه. يبقى هنقول مثلا sexual reproduction يبقى requires او need على طول needs two parents. كمان لو هتكلم على sexual reproduction يبقى اكمل في sexual reproduction اقول ال differences. So has sexual reproduction needs two parents. This is two, I'm sorry. Here two parents. ايه كمان من ال differences؟ ممكن نقول it's slower and cause variation. What else؟ هو only 3 marks فأنا كده خدت ال 3 marks. ممكن كمان نقول له ممكن نقول كمان and fertilization occur. Fertilization of between two gametes. اوكي كده انا خدت ال 3 ماركس. طبعا انا نوزع برضو الماركس بتاعتنا. عندنا الثلاث درجات. اول حاجة sexual reproduction needs two parents. This is 1 mark. It's slower. This is another mark. Cause variation. عشان عارفين ال asexual reproduction there is no variation. And fertilization between two gametes takes place in the sexual reproduction. كده 4 marks not only 3. طيب السؤال اللي بعده figure 3.1 is a diagram of a section through a human heart. عندي هنا شكل الهارت وعندي هو محدد لي كمان ال arrows على ال blood vessels. I have here deoxygenated blood from the body and deoxygenated blood to the lungs, oxygenated blood to the body and oxygenated blood from the lungs. طيب احنا زي ما احنا عارفين ان ال left side دايما بقسم الهارت into 2. لو قسمنا الهارت كده هيبقى عندي two sides, the left side and the right side. احنا already عارفين ان هو حتى لو هو مش كاتب لي ده انا already عارف ان left side دي containing oxygenated blood while the right side containing deoxygenated blood. طيب بيقول draw the letter X on the figure 3.1 to show the position of the septum. What is the septum? The septum is the wall that separates the two sides of the heart, the left side and the right side, and it prevents mixing of blood, of oxygenated and deoxygenated blood. طيب يبقى هرسم الارو على السبتم which is this wall. دي السبتم. هرسم arrow without an arrowhead وهكتب له ان دي X. Okay. Double I state the name of the blood vessel labeled Y in figure 3.1. طيب أنا عندي blood vessel اللي هو عايزه Y ده عايز name of Y. أنا زي ما احنا عارفين we have لما نقسم الهارت into two sides, the left side and the right side, we have 4 chambers. we have the two atriums and the two ventricles. So this is the left atrium and this is the left ventricle. وزي ما احنا عارفين ان هي oxygenated blood, carrying left side carrying oxygenated blood. Atrium, which is the receiver, it receives the blood. So هيجي منين ال blood that coming from oxygenated blood. Oxygenated blood يعني blood carrying oxygen, so it's coming from the lungs. Yes, وهو كاتب لي هنا already oxygenated blood from the lungs. So this is a blood entering the heart. طيب زي ما احنا عارفين ان هو عندنا arteries و veins. For the word artery, which start with an A, so بنسميها away from the heart. يبقى any blood coming out of the heart, it's coming out of an artery, and any blood coming from the vein or carried by the vein, so it's in. Yes, we have to take the letters. Here it starts with an A, so it's away, and here the vein آخرها I and تبقى in. So any blood entering the heart, it's coming in a vein, and any blood coming out of the heart, it's going away from the heart, which is an artery. طيب هو already مسهلة عليا ورسم لي الأروز، فده blood entering the heart. So it's artery or a vein? It's a vein. So this is a vein and connected to the lungs, so it's the pulmonary vein. So state the name of the blood vessel Y, which is the pulmonary vein. Okay. State the function of the part. احنا ممكن برضو نحفظها بطريقة تانية، ان احنا عندنا ال connected بالارتريز دايما بيبقى connected بالاtriums دايما بيبقى veins، وال connected بالventricles دايما بيبقى artery. فممكن نقول ان الventricle ده connected to artery while the atrium connected to veins. يبقى اللي ماسكين في الاتريوم are arteries، ماسكين في الventricles are veins. ماسكين في الventricles are arteries، والاتريوم veins. Okay. State the function of the part labeled Z in figure 3.1. طبعا Z ده it's a valve, which is the atrioventricular valve, or the valve between the atrium and the ventricle. وطبعا طالما هو محدد لي بيتكلم على واحد معين، على valve معين، فانا لازم اقول له احنا عارفين طبعا الفانكشن بتاع الفالف is to prevent the backflow of the blood. وطالما بيتكلم على valve معين فاقول له preventing the blood flow, the backflow of the blood from this ventricle to this atrium, which is the right ventricle to the right atrium. هنقول له it's prevent the blood prevent the backflow of the blood from the right, sorry, this is the right side, the right ventricle to the right atrium. Okay. طبعا ده atrioventricular valve أو it's the tricuspid valve. طيب state how the part labeled Z in figure 3.1 can be used to monitor the activity of the heart. طب احنا ازاي بنستخدم الفالف in measuring to monitor the activity of the heart? Yes, we can listen the closing of the valves. The sound of the heart is the sound of closing of the valves. So I can say by listening, the closing of the valve. Next, state the name of the main type of tissue that forms the wall of the heart. طبعا احنا عارفين ال heart is a muscular organ which is made out of muscles, a specific type of muscles called cardiac muscles. So this is the main type of tissue, which is cardiac muscles. Muscles are tissues as it made out of types of cells, same type of cell and same structure and function. Cells with the same structure and function. A scientist measured the average resting heart rate of 7 different species of animal. They also estimated the average life expectancy of each species. Figure 3.1 is a graph for a scientist's data. We have here, this is the data between the average resting heart rate per beats per minute, and I have here the average life expectancy per years. طيب overall من قبل ما نبص كده على الأسئلة نشوف شكل الجراف عبارة عن إيه. أنا عندي هنا different animals of different species of animals. I have here mouse, hamster, fox, wolf, tiger, horse and orca. This is the animals. طيب الشكل ده موضح لي إيه؟ هو أنا كل ما أمشي in this side يبقى معنى كده بيزيد ال average life expectancy، وكل ما بطلع لفوق كل ما بيزيد ال average resting heart rate. اوكي، فمعنى كده ان اللي عندهم less average resting heart rate عندهم longer life expectancy. The average life expectancy is more. طيب تعالوا نشوف الأسئلة. Complete the sentences to describe the results in figure 3.2. The animal with the highest average resting heart rate is the, I have to get it from the graph. The animal with the highest average resting heart rate. Average resting heart rate is here. The animal with the highest average resting heart rate, which is the mouse. Okay. The next one, the animal with the longest average life expectancy is the, which one having the longest average life expectancy؟ طبعا اللي هو عنده about تقريبا 30 or less than 30 years, which is the orca. The general trend is that as the average life expectancy increase, the average resting heart rate is. So we have to know the general trend. دي أول حاجة قلناها أول ما نبص على الجراف نعرف الجنرال ترند إيه هو. إن كل ما بيزيد ال average life expectancy كل ما بيقل ال average resting heart rate. So I have to write the average resting heart rate decrease لأن هو قايل لي the average life expectancy increase. It's indirectly or indirectly proportional. Okay, another animal species has an average life expectancy of 14 years. Using the information in figure 3.2 to predict the average resting heart rate of this animal species. عايزين نعرف from the graph or by using the graph, the information in the figure, to predict the average resting heart rate of the animal that have average life expectancy of 14 years. طيب فين 14 years هنا؟ لازم أعرف كل small box بكام. هعرف إزاي؟ عندي هنا large box ب5, so I have to make 5 here, counting in 5, so I have to make 5 divided by the number of boxes, so it's 5 divided by 10. Yes, but each small box was half. فلازم أحدد فين 14 years على الجراف. So here it's 10.5, 11, 11.5, 12, 12.5, 13, 13.5 and 14. بدأ 14. Using the ruler I have to go up till I reach the line, and I have to know another line like this. Okay, so here also I have to know كل box صغير بكام. فيبقى أنا عندي 50. I have to make 50 divided by 10. But each box, each small box, yes, it's 5. Okay, so I have here 55, 60, 65, and here it's 70. Okay, so I have to write 70 beats per minute. Okay. Coronary heart disease, or CHD, is the blockage of one of the blood vessels of the heart. State the name of the blood vessel that becomes blocked in CHD. طبعا هو اسمه من اسمه هو coronary heart disease, ف it's in the coronary artery. Blockage of the coronary artery cause a coronary heart disease. Okay. The next one, list 2 risk factors for coronary heart disease. What are the risk factors of coronary heart disease? We have many. وعايز منهم 2 بس. So أنا عندي هنا سؤال اسمه list. زي state, I have only to say the names. Without description, without anything. Just to state the risk factors. So I have many of them, like smoking, also stress, and I have also diet containing a lot of fats, وعندنا ايه كمان ممكن نقول obesity, age, and also the gender or sex can affect or can be a risk factor. High blood pressure, these are the risk factors. I have to write only 2. طبعا مش هكتب كل ده، هنكتب بس 2. ممكن نكتب smoking and stress، ممكن نكتب containing a diet containing a lot of fats and obesity، ممكن نكتب high blood pressure and smoking، whatever. المهم ان احنا نكتب بس 2 بس من دول. طيب الكويستشن اللي بعده بيقول list the names of 2 types of cell found in blood. عايز 2 types of cells that found in blood. عندنا طبعا we can write the red blood cells and the white blood cells. These are the 2 types of cells found in the blood. A student investigated aerobic respiration in an arthropod. Figure 4.1 shows the apparatus the student used. The potassium hydroxide solution removed any carbon dioxide produced by the arthropod. طيب أنا عندي apparatus هنا، في عندي جوه arthropod، في عندي water bath، وجوه مع الارثروبود there is potassium hydroxide solution، و I have it's in a test tube، وعندي connected ب capillary tubing containing a drop of colored liquid and I have a ruler. أول حاجة هو بيقول إن student investigated the aerobic respiration، يبقى هو السؤال بيتكلم على respiration. Okay. The colored liquid، أو خلينا نفسر الأول إيه اللي بيحصل جوه. أنا عندي an arthropod that is respiring aerobically، يعني using oxygen to break down glucose to release energy. طيب الwaste products بتاعة الارثروبود ده it's an animal، فيبقى عنده waste product بتاعة aerobic respiration which is carbon dioxide and water vapor. فهو already حاطط potassium hydroxide solution to absorb any carbon dioxide produced. فمعنى كده ان الاكسجين او movement of the drop of colored liquid ده هيبقى due to the absorption of oxygen for aerobic respiration. طب هو ليه حط البوتاسيوم هيدروكسيد سولوشن؟ ليه عايز يعمل absorption للكربون دايوكسيد؟ لانه ببساطة لو في كربون دايوكسيد خرج هيبوظ الاكسبيرمنت بتاعته، هيخلي دروب اوف ليكويد دي ترجع تاني مكانها، او ممكن ما تتحركش تفضل ثابتة. to avoid this he used potassium hydroxide solution to absorb carbon dioxide عشان يبقى الموفمنت بتاع drop of colored liquid is only from the absorption of oxygen. طيب بيقول the colored liquid moved 9 millimeters in 30 seconds. Calculate the rate of movement of the colored liquid. هو عايزها مليمتر per second، هي already بالمليمتر فأنا مش محتاج أحول حاجة. ده سؤال سهل قوي cross multiplication. أنا عندي ال 9 كان في 30 seconds أو 9 مليمتر كان في 30 seconds، يبقى x in 1 second عشان هو عايزها per second. يبقى 9 times 1 over 30 يبقى الانسر هتبقى 0.3. هو already كاتب لي اليونت، مش محتاج ان انا اكتب يونتس. هو عايزة مليمتر per second يبقى 0.3 مليمتر per second. The next one, predict the distance moved by the colored liquid in 1 minute. ده برضو انا جبت already per second ب 0.3، يبقى انا عندي 0.3 مليمتر ده in 1 second، يبقى x in 60 seconds. انا عايزها in 1 minute ف 0.3 times 60 which is 18. Okay, the next one, state the name of the gas taken in by the arthropod that caused the colored liquid to move towards the test tube. طيب وعندي arthropod وبيعمل aerobic respiration. Which gas it will absorb? So it's oxygen gas. Yes, it will be oxygen gas. On the state also I have only to state the name. Next, tick one sentence that explains why a water bath was used in the investigation shown in figure 4.1. فين الwater bath؟ اهو surrounding the test tube. طبعا الwater bath we always use the water bath to maintain or to keep the temperature constant، لأن أنا هنا temperature is one of the controlled variable in this investigation. لأن أنا لو غيرت temperature هتغير معايا rate of respiration. It will be affected. عشان طبعا دي it's a process that controlled by enzymes. فمعنى كده ان temperature لو عليت temperature او وطيتها it will produce different results. So I have here only to tick the right one, which is water is used to keep the temperature constant. Okay, carbon dioxide is one product released by aerobic respiration. State the name of the other product of aerobic respiration. طيب أنا عندي aerobic respiration oxygen plus glucose and produce carbon dioxide and water vapor and releasing energy طبعا. فهو already هو بيقول carbon dioxide is one product released. State the name of the other product, which is water vapor. State the name of the organ in humans that excrete carbon dioxide. On here, organ which excrete or which get out carbon dioxide out of our body, which is the lungs. The next one, respiration release the energy needed for body processes. Complete the sentences to describe some of the ways energy is used by the body. How our body use the energy. The first one بيقول energy is required for muscle to do what? that this allow our bodies to move. So our muscles is contracting, so energy is required for muscle contraction. The next one, energy is also required for the passage of nerve. It's the nerve impulses. طبعا مش هكتب nerve messages أو nerve signals، هي اسمها nerve impulses. The last one, these are electrical signals that are passed along the cells called, which type of cells that is responsible for passing on the nerve impulses? Yes, I can write neurons or I can write nerves. Nerves أو neurons. Both are right. كده أنا أخدت 3 marks. أنا محتاج أكتب واحدة بس في دول، مش محتاج إن أنا أكتب الاتنين. Okay. The next one, 5A figure 5.1 is a drawing of a part of cross section of a leaf. عندي أهي الليف، عندي different layers with different labels. I have A, B, C, and D. We'll complete table 5.1 by stating the names of the parts labeled in figure 5.1. So I have to write the names. The first one, A, which is the first layer, the transparent layer over here in the leaf, which is the upper epidermis. The upper epidermis. The next one, B, this is the vascular bundle. Vascular bundle, so I have two types of tissues in the vascular bundle, which is the xylem and the phloem. So I have to state whether it's the phloem or the xylem. دايما الصغيرين اللي بيبقوا compact close to each other دول, these are the phloem cells. والتانيين اللي فوق دول they are the xylem. C خلي بالكوا هنا هو مشاور على ال opening in between the cells. Opening في lower surface of the leaves, which is this is the stomata. Opening in the lower surface of the leaves, so it's the stomata. D, need the whole layer here, all of this layer, it's the sponge mesophyll, containing the sponge mesophyll cells and the air spaces. This is called the sponge mesophyll. Okay, these are the 4 labels that I have. State the number of guard cells shown in figure 5.1. من عندي ال guard cells, they are the cells that open and close the stomata. So the 2 cells that are surrounding the stomata, these are guard cells. So I have here 2 stomata, so it's 4 guard cells. This is 1, 2, 3, and 4. هو عايز بس اللي موجودين في الدايجرام اللي قدامنا. So it's 4 cells. Okay, next, the xylem is responsible for transporting water through the plant. State one other substance transported by the xylem. الزايلم احنا عارفين ان هو بيترانسبورت water. طيب water بس؟ لا، water with dissolved ions, right? Dissolved minerals, like all the minerals that is absorbed from the roots dissolved in water, it come out with the water. فهو مش عايز الووتر. هو طبعا عارفين الزايلم have 2 functions, is to transport water and to support the plant. هنا بيقول لي the xylem is responsible for transporting water through the plant. State one other substance. ما ينفعش اقول له طبعا water تاني. State one other substance transported by the xylem. فهنقول له dissolved ions or minerals. Okay. Next one, state the type of cell through which water enters a plant. هو عايز the type of cell that the water enter the plant. Water enter the plant from the soil through the roots. طيب عايز the type of cell that is responsible for absorption of water from the soil, which is the root hair cell. Root hair cells. Describe how water moves out of the leaves of a plant. طبعا زي ما قلنا سؤال description. I have to write in paragraph وهقول له I have to describe what is happening. So describe how water moves out of the leaves of a plant. This process is called transpiration. ممكن نقول by transpiration. وابتدي اشرح ايه هي transpiration. كده انا خدت اول mark by stating the name of movement. كده خدت اول mark by transpiration, which is evaporation of water at the surface of the sponge mesophyll cells. وبعدين اول حاجه انا عندي layer بتاع of water surrounding the sponge mesophyll cells بيحصل لها evaporation وبعدين diffuse الموفمنت بتاعها by diffusion diffuse out through the stomata down the concentration gradient. Okay, السؤال ده out of 3 marks, so I have to explain what is happening. تعالوا نوزع الماركس ونشوف احنا خدنا كام درجة. أول حاجة عندي by transpiration, this is 1 mark. The other mark for evaporation of water at the surface of sponge mesophyll, كده another mark, which by diffusion diffuse out through the stomata. أنا عندي diffuse out لوحدها, this is 1 mark. خلينا برضو نوضحها. Diffuse out, this is 1 mark, and through the stomata another mark, down the concentration gradient another mark. عندي ادي 1 2 3 4 and 5. Here's 5 marks. Next question, state the word equation for photosynthesis. We have the word equation or the equation of photosynthesis. It's the opposite of respiration. هي بالظبط الopposite بتاعها. So it's carbon dioxide plus water and it produce glucose plus oxygen. Okay. State the type of energy required for photosynthesis. احنا عارفين ان ال energy required for this equation to happen or for this chemical reaction to happen, which is the light energy, which is trapped by the chlorophyll in the chloroplast inside the palisade mesophyll for photosynthesis to take place to produce glucose. The next one, a researcher investigated the effect of temperature on 2 different biological washing powder A and B. So I have here, he is investigating what? The temperature, the effect of temperature on different biological washing powder اللي هم A and B. طيب من قبل ما ابص كده على الجراف بتاعي لازم اعرف ان عندي biological washing powder يعني washing powder contains enzymes. So the effect of temperature يبقى انا اكيد هيجيلي سؤال على optimum temperature and denaturing the enzyme and so on. طيب أول question بيقول two identical pieces of clothing were stained with the same type of food. The researcher timed how long each washing powder took to remove the stains at different temperatures. I have here figure 6.1 is a graph of the results. Here's the temperature and here's the time taken to remove the stain per minutes. وعندي two types of washing powder A and B. The first one, determine the time taken for washing powder A to remove the stain at 20 degrees. Here's 20 and I have, this is temperature A, so I have to draw a line using the ruler to state or to determine the time taken. Here's the time on the y-axis, so I have to draw a line like this. And another line to determine the temperature, or sorry, the time taken, which is 40 minutes. This is for biological washing powder A. So it's 40 minutes. State why 40 degrees is the best temperature to use for washing powder B. I have 40 is the best. ليه it's the best? As it took the shortest time to remove the stains. عن كل ما اشتغل أسرع كده يبقى هو أحسن. It's the best temperature which is 40, as it took the shortest time to remove the stains. So it took only 20 minutes. Why this happened? معنى كده ان ال temperature هنا كانت the optimum temperature. يبقى هقوله because 40 degrees is the optimum temperature for the enzyme to work. Okay, ممكن أزود حتة as it took the shortest time to remove the stain. This is the full answer that I should write. Next one, a student stated some conclusions for the results shown in figures 6.1. Tick two boxes that show two correct conclusions for the results shown in figure 6.1. أول واحدة بتقول washing powder B is active over a greater range of temperatures than washing powder A. طب هعرف دي صح ولا غلط منين؟ لازم أبص على الجراف. أنا عندي washing powder A تقريبا ابتدت من 15 degrees up to more than 50. Right, so I think it's 53 degrees. While B, it started at 19 degrees and it's inactive or denatured at 50. Which one have wider range, which is A? ده يبقى wrong one. يبقى washing powder B is active over a greater range of temperature. لا. The next one, washing powder A and B do not work at 50. A and B do not work at 50. Only B was not working at 50, but A was working. So it's wrong. The third one, washing powder A and B have the same activity at 37. In 37, I have the small box only with 1. So this is 35, 36, and 37. Yes, they are having the same activity at 37, so this is a right answer. Okay, washing powder, so now I have to tick two boxes. So the next one, washing powder A can remove the stain in 15 minutes. In 15 minutes, no, it's not removing the stain. The last one, washing powder A is more effective at lower temperature than B, and then washing powder B, this is the right one, لأن هو كان شغال من أول 15 ابتدى يشتغل من أول 15. while B, it started at 19. So this one also is the right answer. Okay, next one, state one factor other than temperature that affects enzyme activity. طيب احنا عارفين we have 4 factors that affect the enzyme activity, which is temperature, pH, the concentration of the enzyme, and the concentration of the substrate. These are the 4 factors affecting the enzyme activity. Already كاتب لي temperature, he need another one, so I can write pH or concentration of the enzyme، أو ممكن أقول concentration of the substrate. أي واحدة من التلاتة، طبعا مش محتاج أكتب التلاتة، هو عايز only one factor so I have to write only one. أكتر واحدة متأكد منها أكتبها، اللي فاكرها يعني متأكد منها أكتبها. يبقى pH or concentration of the enzyme or concentration of the substrate، التلاتة صح. Enzyme are biological catalysts. Define the term catalyst, and this is out of 2 marks. عارفين ال catalyst, it's a substance that speed up the chemical reaction. This is the first one, the first mark. تاني حاجة ممكن أقول له without itself being changed. changed. These are the 2 marks. نعلم عليهم. أول حاجة عندي substance that speed up the chemical reaction. This is 1 mark. Without itself being changed. This is the other mark. Next one, figure 6.2 is a drawing showing the action of an enzyme. جايب لي enzyme, substrate, and the steps or the stages of the enzyme. State the letter of or letters from figure 6.2 that represent the substrate. هنا فين ال substrate؟ أهو. This is the substrate. Okay, and this is the enzyme. As you know, this part is the active site. W is, it's the substrate, the enzyme substrate complex. This is an enzyme substrate complex. And I have here X and Y, it's the products. So هو عايز مني ال substrate والenzyme. Substrate it's V, while the enzyme is, yes, Z. Okay. Lipase is an enzyme commonly found in washing powder. Complete the word equation for the reaction that involves the enzyme lipase. We already know that lipase is an enzyme that breaks down or digests fats or lipids into fatty acids and glycerol. So I can write here fats or lipids, both will be right, and the products are fatty acid and glycerol. Already كاتب لي glycerol, so I have to write fatty acid. These are the 2 marks. Next, scientists recorded the percentage of endangered species in each of the 5 groups of vertebrates in 2000 and 2011. Figure 7.1 shows the results. We have here amphibians, mammals, birds, reptiles, and fish. These are the animals. We have here the percentage of endangered species in each vertebrate group, and we have the dark one is 2000 and the shaded one is 2011. State the vertebrate group that had the largest increase in the percentage of endangered species between 2000 and 2011. أكتر واحدة حصل لها increasing between 2000 and 2011, which is amphibians. The next one, state the vertebrate group that had a decrease in the percentage of endangered species. مين هنا حصل له decrease؟ I have this one increased and this one increased and this one increased, also only this one, which is mammals. State the percentage of fish species that were endangered in 2011. Fish and 2011 with this one. I have to نحددها. Yes, it's this line. I think each one box is 1, so it's 6. It's 6%. Let's draw a line عشان تبقى برضو more clear. Yes, so it's 6. The next one, state one feature of birds which distinguish them from the other groups of vertebrates. I have to state the key feature that that I can distinguish the birds from the other groups. So I have two key features for birds. I can say body covered with feathers, or the other one is they have beaks instead of teeth. These are the two key features that the birds have, and it differs from the other groups. One reason species become endangered is pollution from discarded waste such as plastic. Describe two ways of preventing plastic waste entering the environment. How I can prevent this? I have two main ways. I can recycle plastic by recycle plastic and use it on that describes, so I have to write in a sentence, not only a word. So I can write recycle plastic and use it in different ways, now in different shapes, and I can write also reuse the plastic. I can write use biodegradable plastic, which is plastic will not be accumulated or for many years. So I can use biodegradable plastic. So the two ways to prevent plastic waste entering the environment, I can write recycle plastic and use biodegradable plastic. The next one, reducing pollution can help to conserve species. Outline other ways that can be used to conserve endangered animal species. هنا هو عايز different ways of conservation. How I can conserve to prevent the endangered species. I have many ways. I can say stop deforestation. I can say also by captive breeding programs. I can say also ban hunting, or to stop hunting the animals, ban hunting by laws. Also education, by educating people. On how to protect the animals. I can say by constructing conservations and provide the animals with food, shelter, and medicine. What else? By constructing also zoos and parks. All of these are ways to help in conservation or ways of conservation. طيب أنا عندي out of 4 marks. هنا عندي stop deforestation, this is 1 mark. Captive breeding program, captive breeding programs. Ban hunting by laws, this is another one. 3. Educating people on how to protect the animals, this is another one. 4. Constructing conservations and provide the animals with food, shelter and medicines, دي ممكن تبقى 2 marks. Constructing zoos and parks, this is another mark. Next question. برضو أنا هنا في the outline I can write in a paragraph. I don't have to write points like this. I can write them beside each other in a paragraph. عشان هو مش عايزني أكتب in points. بكتب points بس في سؤال name or state. This is only the questions that I have to write in points. The last one, differences between the features of the 5 groups of vertebrates have arisen over very long periods of time. These differences are the result of natural selection. The box on the left contain the term natural selection, and the boxes on the right contain some sentence endings. Draw 3 lines to link the term natural selection with 3 sentence ending to make the 3 correct sentences. So I have to write all of these just to choose 3 out of them. The first one involve humans choosing the best animals. طبعا, as you know, in natural selection we have to choose the animals with the features that I want to be passed on for the next generations to have many of them. So this one is right, the first one. And the next one, involve only the best adapted organisms surviving and breeding. Yes, it involve only the best adapted surviving and breeding. Oh, sorry, the first one is the first one. Here it's not involve human choosing the best because it's natural selection. It's not selective breeding. It's natural selection. So the first one is involve only the best adapted organisms surviving and breeding. This is the first one. These only the animals or the organism that can survive and reproduce. Okay. The next one, involve passing on alleles of the offspring. Yes, this is another one. Involve passing on the alleles of the offspring. They pass the alleles from the desired feature is passed on from one generation to another. The next one occurs because all offspring are identical to their parents. No, not all of the offspring identical to their parents. Sometimes they are reproducing sexually and they are not identical, but they are passing on the alleles that help them to adapt and survive. The next one occurs as there are not enough resources for every individual. Occurs as there are not enough resources for every individuals. So no, occurs as there are not enough resources for every individual. The last one only occurs in animals. No, it's not only occurs in animals. It occurs in animals and plants and different organisms. Yes, also it occurs as there are not enough resources for every individual. They are searching for food, or they are searching for, and the one that can adapt, the best suited organism or the best suited feature can be passed from one organism to another. And this is the last one, last question. Okay, hope this will be helpful for all of you. Thank you very much.